we're never coming back to this city.
This June, tourism was down in Las Vegas by a whopping 11.3%. Is Las Vegas in a slump right now?
Definitely in a slump.
Vegas doesn't need the casinos to take your money anymore, because today, the Strip has found a way to drain you before you've even checked in. A $79 hotel room? It quietly doubles. A bottle of water? It changes price depending on the day. And restaurants? They'll charge you $40 just to sit at the wrong table. But here's the thing, these aren't even the worst scams. By the end of this video, you'll see the one hidden trick that makes every single tourist a guaranteed loser before they even touch a slot machine. Long before the Strip became a maze of fees and fine print, Las Vegas ran on a different kind of math. Free parking wasn't a perk, it was a promise. Pull off the highway, step into the casino, and the city rolled out the red carpet. Blackjack tables offered $5 minimums, and even if you lost your last chip, you could wander into a buffet with enough prime rib to make you forget the sting. Drinks flowed freely. Not just for high rollers, but for anyone with the nerve to sit and play. The city's secret wasn't just the neon or the jackpots. It was the feeling that for a weekend, anyone could be treated like a winner. The generosity wasn't just marketing. Casino bosses knew that value was the hook. Regulars from California piled into their cars, drawn by the promise that a few bucks could buy hours of entertainment. Locals brought their families for Sunday brunches, parking just steps from the action. Tourists swapped stories about comps, free show tickets, meals, even the occasional room handed out with a wink and a handshake. It was a place where the odds might be against you, but the hospitality never was. That era built loyalty so deep, it survived recessions and scandals. People came back year after year because Vegas felt like an escape from the rules of regular life. No one worried about hidden charges. The only surprise was a comped dessert or a free upgrade. The city's magic was simple: make every visitor feel like the most important person in the room. But as the years ticked by and spreadsheets replaced showmen, the old Vegas spirit began to slip away. The city that once gave freely started to measure every gesture, every amenity, every moment of fun, down to the last cent. At the Bellagio lobby shop, a mother grabs a bottle of water for her son. The sticker says $6, but at the register, the total flashes $7.54. It's Saturday night and the price has jumped again. No warning, no sign, just an algorithm in the back room deciding what hydration is worth when the crowds swell. She adds a bag of chips and a granola bar. The bill, over $30. Later, she'll tell friends it felt like fighting a slot machine just to buy toothpaste. Across the Strip, the same invisible hand is at work. Prices for snacks, sunscreen, aspirin, anything a traveler might need, rise and fall by the hour. There's no posted list, just a gamble at the counter. Guests pull out their credit cards, only realizing after the beep that they've lost again. It's not just the casino floor that's rigged. Now even the gift shop is a game you're set up to lose. Upstairs, a couple checks into their hotel. The room was advertised at $79 a night. At checkout, the total comes to $156 per night, more than double, thanks to a $59 resort fee they barely noticed in the fine print. The fee is mandatory, whether they use the gym or never leave their room. Expedia's 2025 survey found that 78% of travelers encountered unexpected hotel charges in Las Vegas. Many say the shock at the desk was enough to turn them away for good. The law was supposed to protect travelers. In 2017, federal rules required hotels to disclose all mandatory fees before booking. But the casinos found a loophole. As long as the fine print existed somewhere, they could advertise any headline rate they wanted. The result? A $79 room becomes a $156 lesson in creative accounting. The city that once promised indulgence now delivers a masterclass in hidden costs, one receipt at a time. At the Eiffel Tower restaurant, a couple request a window seat for their anniversary. The hostess smiles, then informs them it's an $80 upcharge, just for the view. They hesitate, but it's a special night. The check arrives with the surcharge listed as a separate line, right above the filet mignon. Down the strip at Prime Steakhouse, a server explains the fountain tables require a $175 minimum spend per person, regardless of what's ordered. The view isn't part of the meal anymore. It's a premium, like early boarding on a budget airline. Menus now come with hidden ladders. Want a regular booth? No extra charge. Want to see the Bellagio fountains or the Strip's neon? That's an add-on. Even luxury starts to feel like coach class with steak knives. A diner from Texas puts it bluntly, I paid $44 for a steak, $22 for a cocktail, and $40 just to sit by the window. Vegas used to be indulgence. Now it's a spreadsheet. The logic is simple. If people will pay for an experience, charge them twice. Once for the food, once for the backdrop. Algorithms flag high-demand hours, and the premium jumps. On Friday nights, the same table costs more than on a rainy Tuesday. The view tax isn't just for tourists. Locals celebrating a birthday get the same sales pitch. The Strip's best scenery is now behind a velvet rope, and the price changes by the hour. What was once part of the magic, dining with a view of the city, has become another transaction. The city that once treated every guest like a winner now treats every moment like a line item. For visitors, the thrill of Vegas is fading, replaced by the slow realization that every angle, every sunset, every seat with a story now comes with a bill. A rideshare driver named Luis pulls up to the Strip just after noon, eyeing the line of orange cones and digital signs. 2 years ago, he would circle the casino curb, pick up tourists with suitcases, and be gone in minutes. Now he waits in a garage, pays $24 for the privilege, and watches his app ping less and less. Since paid parking became the norm, curbside pickups at flagship resorts have dropped by as much as 40%. Some weekends, the line for taxis stretches out the door, while rideshare drivers circle, burning gas and patience. Luis shakes his head. Used to be, I'd make 8-10 runs a night. Now, maybe 3. The rest of the time, I'm paying to park and hoping for a ping. The parking meter doesn't care if you're a high roller or a local on your lunch break. $18 a day for self-park, $50 for valet on weekends. Even hotel guests aren't spared. A family from Bakersfield arrives for a 3-night stay and racks up $120 in parking before they've touched a slot machine. Locals who once brought friends to the Strip for dinner now meet off-site or skip the trip altogether. One casino manager admits, "We saw foot traffic drop the minute we started charging. It's like putting a toll booth at the city limits." Inside, the promise of loyalty has curdled. The same manager gestures to a stack of loyalty program brochures. "We used to give away rooms, meals, show tickets. Now the value's been slashed. At Fontainebleau, slot points are worth half what they were last year. At other properties, free nights take double the points. Some guests don't even realize their perks have expired until they try to redeem." Across the Strip, regulars who once felt like insiders now feel like targets. The numbers back it up. Player forums track 30 to 50% drops in rewards value for entry-level and mid-tier members. For millions, the magic of free Vegas has vanished. Instead, they're left with a parking ticket and a loyalty card that's lost its promise. The Strip, once a place where loyalty was gold, now treats it like another commodity, measured, rationed, and quietly devalued. A traveler steps off a red-eye flight, bleary-eyed, suitcase in hand, and heads for the front desk. The room is ready, keys on the counter, fresh towels folded, not a speck of dust in sight. But there's a catch. It's 10:30 a.m. Check-in isn't until 3. The clerk offers immediate access for $65. The guest glances over. No line, no cleaning carts, just empty hallways and a silent lobby. The room is sitting there, but the clock is the gatekeeper. It doesn't matter if you've flown overnight or driven 6 hours from California. Early check-in is now a privilege, not a courtesy. On the way out, a similar fee appears, $65 for late checkout, even when the next guest isn't due for hours. That's $130 just to arrive before lunch or sleep in past 10. Amber Lee from Chicago remembers the sting. She paid the fee because her kids were exhausted, only to find the room spotless and untouched. We felt scammed before even unpacking. Across the Strip, stories like hers echo in travel forums and group chats. The city that once welcomed you with open arms now charges you for waking up at the wrong time. For many, it's the first sign that Vegas hospitality has been replaced by a stopwatch and a spreadsheet. At the pool bar, a man orders 2 beers and a plate of nachos. The bartender smiles, swipes his card, and hands back a receipt. The total? $22 for each beer, not $14. He scans the bill and spots a 20% automatic gratuity already added, but there's still a blank line for an extra tip. He hesitates, then adds a few more dollars, not wanting to look cheap. Only later does he realize he's tipped twice on the same order. Across the Strip, this is the new normal. Restaurants, spas, and room service all tack on a 20% auto gratuity. No explanation, no heads up. The tip line stays put, catching tourists off guard. For a family grabbing lunch by the pool, a $14 beer turns into a $22 charge. A round of drinks and a burger can balloon to $90 before anyone's finished the first sip. Guests whisper about feeling tricked, not thanked. When tipping feels rigged, so does everything else, one regular says. The trust that once defined Vegas dining is replaced by suspicion. Every meal, every drink, another small gamble. Except here, the house never loses. A blackjack regular named Mike sits at a table, stacks his chips, and settles in for what he hopes will be a long night. The minimum bet is $25, steep but still possible. By 6 p.m., the pit boss taps a tablet. The table minimum jumps to $50. Mike's been playing for an hour, but now he's told to double his bets or leave his seat. 2 hands later, it's $100 per hand. The change isn't announced, just flashed on a digital sign. Players grumble and cash out mid-shoe, their night over before it ever really began. The cheap tables that once lined the floor, gone. The Strip has become invite-only, with entry fees that climb by the hour. A few floors up, a remote worker named Priya tries to join a video call from her hotel room. The Wi-Fi is included in her $59 resort fee, but the speed is throttled to a crawl. Her screen freezes. A pop-up offers premium access for $19 extra per day. She pays just to get her job done. For many, it's a ransom. Pay more or be cut off. Across social media, the hashtag #VegasGouge trends as guests post receipts. $100 blackjack, $19 Wi-Fi, all on top of fees. In 2025, even the basics, play, connect, unwind, are just another spin of the revenue wheel. Receipts from Summer 25 tell a new story, one that leaves guests stunned at checkout. Buried between the resort fee and the taxes, a line item reads Sustainability Surcharge, Energy Recovery, or simply Ambience Fee. The average? $18 per night added with the quiet confidence of a city that runs on air conditioning and neon. It's not a donation. It's not optional. It's just another charge, justified by the glow of the Strip and the hum of the fountains outside your window. Guests post screenshots. A $156 room bill, now padded with a fee that claims to cover the cost of keeping the lights on. The irony is thick. Vegas, a city built on spectacle, now bills you for the privilege of breathing cold air and watching the lights flicker. Multiply that by tens of thousands of rooms, and the math is staggering. Millions in new revenue, pulled from the pockets of visitors who never agreed to bankroll the city's electric bill. One guest calls it paying for oxygen. Another, the world's most expensive nightlight. The message is clear. In 2025, Las Vegas has learned how to monetize the very air you breathe. The city that once dazzled with generosity now charges you just to bask in its glow. Repeat visitors once powered the Strip, filling rooms and casino floors year after year. In 2025, that cycle is broken. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority reports a 42% drop in repeat visitation compared to just 2 years ago. Californians, once the city's most reliable weekend crowd, are skipping the drive. International arrivals are down 13%, and for the first time in decades, more tourists say they won't be back than plan to return. The numbers tell a story louder than the neon. June 2025 saw visitor volume fall by 11.3% year over year, with just over 3.1 million tourists, down from more than 3.5 million the previous June. Hotel occupancy is off by nearly 7%, and air arrivals through Harry Reid International are down 6.3%. The exodus isn't just about leaving, it's about where people go instead. Reno's hotels logged a 19% jump in visitors in the second quarter of 2025, with guests citing better value than Vegas as their top reason. Scottsdale and Laughlin are seeing double-digit gains too. Industry analysts now warn that if the current pattern holds, Las Vegas could lose another 8 to 10% of its tourist base by year's end. The Strip, once synonymous with escape, is now a cautionary tale told in empty seats and darkened marquees. In 2025, Las Vegas repeat visitation dropped by 42%, and Reno hotel bookings climbed 19%. These numbers are drawn from hotel occupancy reports and travel industry surveys, highlighting the real fallout from aggressive fees and hidden charges exposed throughout this documentary. Once known for free parking, $5 blackjack tables, and affordable luxury, Las Vegas now faces a measurable exodus driven not by crime or recession, but by a system of algorithmic pricing, mandatory surcharges, and loyalty program devaluation documented in receipts, guest testimonies, and FTC filings. While executives defend these tactics as necessary for profitability, the internal decision-making and long-term strategy behind this shift remain largely undisclosed. What is clear, the short-term gains from $59 Wi-Fi upcharges and $175 table minimums have come at the expense of trust and tradition. As official projections warn of an 8 to 10% further decline, the evidence leaves no doubt Las Vegas has traded its lasting appeal for short-term revenue, and the city's future now depends on whether it can reclaim the hospitality that once set it apart.